Dr. Narendra Jadhav, my colleagues on the dais, distinguished participants. If we think about innovation as changing paradigms, creating new ideas, and any form for that matter of creative activity or thinking that takes place across all facets of life and work, for an innovation to therefore be recognized as such, it's a process which inspires change and creates values. Side by side with that, equally critical is the innovation ecosystem, which is the principal catalyst for fostering rapid innovation and the translation of these innovations into large-scale successful institutions. India faces unique challenges in the field of education, and I mean across the board, school education, vocational education, and higher education. And to address its various problems needs its own innovation ecosystem where innovations are allowed to grow from idea to fruition. If we take things from here, I think the most important thing that I would like to emphasize is let's take a step back and see where are we today in the world. When we look across, nations are struggling with growth, they are struggling balancing their budgets, and some of the best economies of this world are struggling to keep the economies afloat. Therefore, more and more, if you look in the context of the post-industrial knowledge economy, the most critical factors that are being looked to today to drive these economies towards a sustainable future is research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Innovation, therefore, reposes heavy responsibilities on the educational sector of the economy. From that point of view, if we see fostering innovative research for reaching newer and expanding the frontiers of knowledge, enabling innovations for social and economic development and for a deeper understanding of the human condition and the society, fostering of an innovative culture that facilitates meeting the educational needs and goals for a sustainable economic development in a knowledge economy, issues of access, equity, quality, relevance, and of course governance, and fostering an innovative mindset in those who pass out of our educational systems for them to be seated and seeded in the economy at large and particularly industry. To innovate and involve, especially in higher education, as we grow more global but also more local, technologies are needed where mixed teaching learning is being looked at, both for face-to-face interaction, at the same time expanding access, making education a part of all stages of life, affordability, and lowering the barriers to participation through different models, that means ultimately scalability. Now, innovation, in order to achieve these goals, can be disruptive, life-changing, with or without complete shift in paradigms, or it could also be in terms of small incremental steps that only become visible, seen in the overall cascading effect in the longer term. But when we are talking about fostering an innovation culture, when we are talking about fostering an innovative ecosystem, both are needed. The larger disruptive changes and the smaller incremental changes. Traditional wisdom has it. I mean, how do we foster, therefore, and how do we commence fostering an innovation culture? Traditional wisdom would say, pick up the brightest scholars of the country, put them somewhere together with some good research labs, and hopefully innovation will take place. But I think that's assuming that the brightest scholars necessarily always have the most innovative minds. And in fact, it's not possible for me to cover in 7 minutes, therefore I'm really going over the broad issues rather than focusing on each one of them.
No exception, 7 minutes.
I know. And therefore,
we want to leave at least least 10 minutes for questions, answers from the floor.
Right, sir. So therefore, I'll just say that schools and school education and skill development education are equally responsible for giving us those people with those mindsets. But in order to foster innovation, the most important thing probably is organizational design, both of the institution as well as of the ecosystem with which those institutions would be developing. We are a complex society with complex organizational hallmarks characterized by three things. A small change in one variable has a multiple cascading effect. It's not always possible to predict or comprehend completely what is going to happen. And the organizations and the society at large is adaptive, that is, there is a capacity to change and learn from experience. And therefore, it is a chaotic model that is needed for having an organizational design that can foster creativity and innovation. If we see it from that point of view, innovation does need organized chaos, which in terms means not a top-down instructional mode, but setting down of broad guidelines, vision, mission, and allowing the systems to emerge what is now called distributive leadership. Secondly, their performance has to be measured and cannot be measured by a single tool, because in context to the environment in which we operate and the needs of the environment and the economy, there should be different measurements of performances. Flexibility is important because it's very difficult to plan per se in an element of uncertainty, and it requires flexibility. Also, plans and goals should allow to emerge rather than be written in stone, amplifying differences and not concerns and clustering. If I were to put it in context, in this system, the one example that I can give to you is the APJ Satya University and how we have been working in that. Within the environment that exists, we have been able to bring in many of these elements of innovation where we are talking about it's not necessary to do different things, but doing the same things differently. As my younger son Aditya tells me, that the first sign of madness is if you keep on doing the same thing again and again and expect different results. So we have borrowed from the best practices and we have adapted them into an academic system that would work well in India. Identifying gaps, problems and needs, also maybe creation of needs that may not even be known, even exist, and finding solutions to them. And we have tried to identify that what should be the goals of a good educational institution in India and try to get innovative solutions to solve those. Building synergy, transdisciplinary, transdomain for solutions to know the problems. Today's real world requires that that is replicatable in the educational institutions for real innovation to take place, which is meaningful. Creation of a different environment, throwing up innovative solutions. And we are talking about a design think, we are talking about centers that come together and create a kind of environment where people are able to think out of the box. But if I were to try to put it in context, I think the most important thing which is needed for fostering an innovative environment is commitment. Commitment from the top and commitment of each and every person to be aligned to that particular goal. It is not easy. Many challenges are to be faced when you move out on an innovative path, and we have to be prepared to meet that. The best way I can put that is in terms of an Urdu couplet. Rahe talab mein jazbae kamil ho jiske saath, khud dhoond leti hai manzil use kabhi kabhi. If your intensity of desire is matched with your intensity of effort, your desired goal itself will seek you out. And that, I think, is the most important mantra for innovation. Thank you.
Thank you.